All right, good morning, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Cadano, Sean, Tim Conklin. Uh, how you guys doing? Thanks for watching. Who's been out fishing this week? Uh, kind of crazy weather. It's been pretty warm. Our ice has been going away fairly quick. Uh, I did a little bit of pond fishing and early. Let's see, last week we had a good solid 6 inches, and Christmas morning it was down to 4, and I haven't stepped on it since. Sounds like a lot of the lakes are kind of in the same situation, but we could definitely use some updates if you guys have been out on any of the other lakes recently and what the ice is like out there. Hey, Jason, big fish. All right. So today we are giving away, spilling here, giving away this 8.6 medium Okuma Diamond Elite downrigger rod. They call it a downrigger rod. You can use this for a lot of different things. It's a good multi-purpose rod, really. All right. Inner City Pigeon, morning. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys all had a good holiday. All right. So, yeah, some decent fishing reports this week, especially open water. Kenosha, there was some really good reports, open water, back by the tube and a few other areas. They were catching a lot of fish on spawn and on spinners. Had good reports from Milwaukee open water all over the harbor, too. Various places from shore fishermen and boat fishermen. Again, I heard people catching fish on spawn sacks, tube jigs, a little everything. Back in McKinley, over by the Hone, kind of all over back in Summerfest Lagoon. So pretty good. I would be taking advantage of the open water. They were also early in the week. I wasn't getting good reports from the root, but as the week went on, then I started getting some good open water reports from up in the river, even up to like Quarry Park. I heard of some fish caught up there. As far as like ice in the harbor goes, I have to imagine it's been a little tough to get on the ice, but you always have to be careful in those harbors. And I don't have a good thickness report, as far as that goes. But you can always stay on the docks up there. And I think right now that's a safe thing to do in our harbors. That's for sure. All right. Good morning, everybody. Brian. All right. Brian says 7 to 9 inches in the Fox Lake in Wisconsin. That's awesome. I don't think we have anything that thick down here. That's for sure. But I could be wrong. All right. I know that walleyes have been biting on Geneva. So you have a lot of different options to catch some fish right now if you don't want to get on the ice. All right. Does anybody have any fishing questions or any of your own fishing reports? We kind of just went right into the fishing report this week because didn't really have a lot of stuff come in. Not too many new things in store, although we have been busy spooling reels. We're starting to accumulate all our pre-spooled reels right now. Lauren's been busy on Mondays here. He got a whole bunch of lead cores, a few wires set up, some coppers on convectors and on cold waters. So if you guys are looking for starter packs or just any pre-spooled reels, we should have them ready to go. All right. Let's see. We got a fishing report here. Fished Racine Harbor yesterday morning. It was about 3 to 4 inches where I punched holes, and there were shacks on the ice, but I stayed on the docks. Yeah, there's always somebody willing to be on the ice, no matter how thin it is. I can tell you that. But the safe bet is always to stay on those docks. It makes it a little tougher to land the fish, but you can't fall through the dock. At least not in Racine. Maybe here at North Point you can. Do I ever use beads like Bloop brand on tip-ups? Not really. I mean, I suppose you could. I don't use many tip-ups in general for fishing the harbors. It's typically like automatic fishermen and that. And I like to keep things like really simple on them and just as little stuff on there as possible. So if I'm fishing a spawn sack, it's just a really small hook, small weight, and that's really it. I want to keep it basic. All right. Catch up to some of the comments here. Morning, Kenneth from Tennessee. Thanks for watching. All right. Love the board knife. All right. When do you start seeing the bulk of your thin fish coming in? Probably in 3-4 weeks, maybe a little less than that, but fairly soon. End of January is when I'll start loading up on those. We'll get those, and we'll get those strong killer fish and all that. All right, fish Kenosha Harbor yesterday. 2 good browns, 1 snapped off, running under the ice. Were you open water fishing? Imagine if it ran under the ice, you were probably by the bridge area. All right. Great perch fishing all week in Milwaukee. I bet there's a bunch of people that wish you didn't say that right now. But thanks for the report. Yeah, most of the perch fishermen like to keep that a secret. I appreciate you sharing it. It's always good to hear about some perch. I know that they were getting perch down in the city. Really weeding through a lot of little ones, though. So you can go catch a ton of them, like every cast, but it's a lot of like 6 inches. So hopefully some bigger ones show up. If that changed, let me know. But that was the most recent report that I've had from a couple of different people. It's like a ton of little ones. How often do I recommend changing braid on rods? You know what? I just wait until it's really bad usually. Like I can get, unless I'm cutting a lot of it off, probably 5 years out of braid. It depends on how much use it's getting, but braid lasts a long time. You just wear it out. It doesn't just degrade over time on its own as much as other lines do. So you can get 5 years as long as there's enough on there. Usually I start to run a little low, and then that's why I end up replacing it, usually before it really goes bad. It's just I start getting a little less on the reel than I prefer. All right. Morning, Missy, Pawn. Happy holidays, everybody. Was I naughty or nice this year? I'm usually a little of both. All right. Morning, Scott, Danielle. Are the harbors still frozen? Yeah, there's still ice in the harbors, but definitely use caution going out there with the weather we've had. It looks like we've got another cold snap coming soon, and that should help things quite a bit. But yeah, definitely use some caution. Like someone said earlier, 3 to 4 inches. I'm guessing that there's going to be places that are going to be less than that and places that are going to be more than that in the harbors. So definitely be careful over there. Yeah, 87th was a bust yesterday, all small. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I don't know where those bigger ones are right now. Maybe there's just so many little ones that the bigger ones aren't getting to the bait. All right. Morning, Sean. Merry Christmas. All right. Let's catch up to more comments here. Is there anywhere I can take my kayak? Yeah. Now, of course, this time of year, you're going to need to be really, really careful in your kayak. But you can launch by the bridge in Kenosha. You should be able to launch on the north side of the river in Racine. That should be open. I'm taking a look over. There might be some floating ice out there. But those would be 2 places you can definitely fish. I know there's boats going out on Lake Geneva. So you've got some options there. But again, it's that time of the year. That water's cold. Definitely be careful out there in a kayak. What is a good, cheaper ice fishing rod for browns? My favorite rod is the Ugly Stick Dock Runner. I got a couple in this week. They're getting harder to get, but I do have them. Rod and reel, $24.99. You can't go wrong. It's a great action for automatic fishermen and jawjackers and all that. It's also good for jigging for those fish. It's a 36-inch medium. You can't go wrong with it. The reel is nothing special. If you don't want to use the reel, that's fine. Just a lot of people don't use the reels they come with, and I don't either. I just use my open water reels when I'm ice fishing for the browns. But that is a really hard reel to beat, or rod to beat, and for the money especially, you can't go wrong. But even compared to some of the more, all right. Sean says Burnham is open. It has been since the 22nd. Yeah, and I think you can definitely get into some Lakers down there. That's another good bet. All right. Lori says 3 months till you splash the boat. Not too far away. It's going to come pretty quick. Any news from the Oak Creek power plant? I've talked to people about going there, and I haven't got any reports after they went, if they went. So if anybody has any reports, I would imagine it's good. Um, but yeah, I've just talked to people that talked about going to it, and then never got reports back from it. But it's this time of year. If you can get over there, it's usually really good. All right. Kayak with a dry suit for sure. Wear a dry suit, especially if you're going to be spending any time away from a shoreline. Dry suit's always the way to go, the safest way to go. All right. Hit the like button. Yes, that goes a long way for the channel here. It gets it around to everybody. So definitely, I appreciate it when you guys hit the like button. It goes a long way for me. So, but yeah, if you guys have any other questions, just any kind of fishing questions, feel free to ask. We'll start doing the Okuma giveaway. Of course, the same keyword as usual for the Diamond Elite rod. Just type in the word Okuma for your chance to win. A little bit of a quicker fishing report this week. Not a whole lot of news for the North Point situation here. Basically, all I've heard in the last week is that they are negotiating with a company to take over a short-term contract, emergency contract, and things were looking encouraging from both sides of it. So that's good. Other than that, I haven't heard anything. They do have the gates all locked to get on the docks right now, so you can't go ice fish. And no trespassing signs everywhere on those docks. That being said, I'm sure there's some people still going down there, but the pike are quite safe this year compared to usual. All right, looks like we've got a whole bunch of replies for the giveaway there. Make sure you spell Okuma correctly, Okuma. Otherwise, you're not going to get in. Any more of the custom square bills come in? You know what? No, I didn't order any more because it froze up right when we ran out of them, and I was like, well, how many do we really need while everything's frozen? But we'll be getting some more. Probably the next time it starts to thaw, because we're going to freeze up again pretty soon based on the forecast that I saw. So once we kind of get through that, then I'll have more of the custom square bills. Probably a couple other different colors too. All right. How many responses do we have so far? 79. All right. Pretty good. Any sword knives at the shop? Yeah, you know what? I probably should get more of those soon. I have the most popular one, the 9-inch flex. That's the one I sell the most of. I have one of those right now. So uh, if you need it, it's all yours. Yeah, I figured that was a joke. All right. Good morning, indeed. Got my PB walleye last night, 11.4 pounds, 30 inches. I know it's common for the Great Lakes guys, but small lake in Minnesota, it's a good one. That's a good one anywhere. Congratulations. Um, I've been able to get the 30 inches, but I haven't been able to break 10 pounds. They're always kind of thin. So even for us Great Lakes guys, that's a big fish. That's a big fish anywhere, especially on a small lake. So congratulations. Oh, look at this. Diamond Ghost Charters is getting in on the Okuma giveaway. I think that's a first for Tony. All right. Sean says he went to on the 23rd for Lakers out of Burnham, posted up by the breakwalls in front of Navy Pier, jigging spoons, Cleos, KO wobblers, and blade baits were all working for Lakers. Real active bite. That's definitely something to take advantage of. That's a really fun bite down there. All right, here's an off-season question. Can you run an SWR, say, 100 feet on a downrigger slider? Was just thinking that might work. It might work. It all sounds like it might get tangled. I guess like you're running the slider, like an SWR, a regular slider, an SWR at the bottom. That would work. I think when I first read your question, I thought you meant the SWR off the slider, like a fixed slider or a stacker. That I think would get tangled. You can definitely do it on the SWR on the bottom with the slider. You just have to remember you're going to be pulling all that lead core and everything through the slider before you really get to start reeling in the fish. So there's a lot of opportunity there to lose the fish, but people do that all the time though. So worth a shot. It's not something I do too often, but you can definitely do that. All right. Any other off-season questions? Happy to answer them. All right. Yeah, same rigger rod. As long as I think if the SWR is in the bottom, you can get away with it. I think if you have the SWR on top, you're going to start getting some tangles there. All right. How many are we up to? 84 entries. We'll give it another minute, and then we'll declare a winner. Any shoreline or harbor fishing tips or any ways to help you catch more fish? Well, that's a pretty broad question right there. If I was fishing a shoreline up here right now, like Kenosha, I would be casting some spinners, depending on the wind, some crankbaits like Brad's Thinfish. I'd also have bobbers out, spawn sacks, tube jigs, or shrimp. This time of year, minnows work pretty well too. So if you have any more specific things, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer them. But that's what I would be doing around here. If I was fishing like Waukegan off the pier, I'd probably cast a spoon. But I'd also have like spawn or even dead bait on the bottom down there, or live like minnows. But a lot of times when you get into this time of the year, winter and super early spring, dead shiners and stuff on the bottom work pretty well. So I would be doing that. All right. I just saw a question I want to get back to. Come on, let's get up here. Will Salmon Unlimited still do their swap meet given the North Point situation? Yes. They're pretty much locked in for that location, so nothing's going to change there. I can't remember the dates of it offhand. I should have that flyer around here. But if you go on to Salmon Unlimited Facebook page and website, it'll be on there. That's going to be here in Winthrop Harbor at the Schrader Building. Like I said, I can't remember the dates offhand. That is set. That's not going to change no matter what happens at North Point, as far as I know. What's a good bait to jig through the ice for browns? My favorite's a tube jig, 2-inch tube jig, 16th ounce or 32nd ounce jig head, white or pearl. If the water's dirty, then I go with green, tip it with a waxy or maybe some like shrimp scent or gel scent like that. Works pretty well. I catch them on, I've caught plenty on Swedish pimples, jigging wraps. I know guys are catching them on the little mini ripping wraps lately. So all that. But I've heard of quite a few caught on the tube jigs this recently. Anyone launching a boat at Racine with all this warm water? I've talked to a few people that have. I don't remember what they told me, but you can launch a boat there right now. I see several Dip Sea Diver clones. Are any of them better? I haven't tried them, so I can't really tell you. And I don't really know anybody who's tried them either, for the most part. I have no feedback on those. So if anybody's tried them, let us know. All right. Any seminars planned outside of Keating? Yeah, I've been trying to get Caleb to set a date. I've asked him like 3 times. He hasn't given me a date yet. So feel free to give him a hard time and start bugging him about it. Is Port Washington Harbor frozen? I'd guess not with the warm weather and the power plant discharge going in there. There might be some ice in spots, but that harbor should be open. All right. I've never run a slider. Is it common tactic, and how often do they tangle? They don't tangle too much. It's a common tactic in Illinois because it does not count as an extra line. So basically, what you have for a slider is like 4 or 6 foot piece of fishing line, snap swivel on both sides, and then you just put your downrigger line through one of the snap swivels and clip it. And on the other side, you have a spoon, and you just throw it in the water, and it's gonna go down to like the furthest point in the bow in your line before it goes to the downrigger ball. And it's just a way to get extra baits in the water. And like I said, in Illinois, it does not count as an extra line. But if you're in Wisconsin, it does count for an extra line. And the DNR in Wisconsin will check to see if you're running sliders. So keep that in mind. But there's days that's a hot way to catch fish. Like it's pretty effective. March 14th is a swap meet. Thanks, Steve. Any tips for pike in the harbor? I've seen big pike caught through the ice, and I want to chase them myself. It's typically tip ups and big bait, like the XL shiners, suckers, and smelt. I will be getting some whole herring. Should be on my next bait shipment, maybe Friday. Stuff like that, just letting it on the bottom. And as the season progresses, that dead bait gets more and more effective as fish just die off during the winter, and then the pike start to key in on that dead bait. So that's always a good chance. And the dead bait you can usually get bigger than everything else. So when you're targeting big pike, it's good to have big bait like that. So those are all things, just tip ups. And what I like, a lot of people want to run steel for tip ups, but I prefer not to because I feel like I get a lot less bites that way when I'm fishing for pike, especially in the marinas with the water is typically clear. So just heavy fluoro for your leader, make a quick strike rig on your own, and you're usually in pretty good shape. That's how I've caught my biggest pike down there. Yeah, just like Sean says, big circle hook or a double treble, something like that, a quick strike. Can you launch at Bender? It just depends on how small your boat is. So some people can't, some people can't. Yep. Thanks for bringing that up, Jason. SU Wisconsin always has something general at the general membership meeting the second Wednesday of every month at the 5th Street Yacht Club. So if you guys are looking for something to do and go talk fishing and listen to somebody else talk about fishing, the second Wednesday of every month at the 5th Street Yacht Club in Racine. All right. Yeah, Michigan uses a lot of Dreamweaver Dipsies. We use a lot of the Dreamweaver Dipsies here. There are some other knockoffs coming out, and those are the ones that I haven't tried. But the Dreamweaver Dipsies are great. The clear ones break a little bit, but the other colors are fine. You can't go wrong with any of them, though. Any of those two. But yeah, there's some other ones I just haven't used. All right. You ever try selling your stuff on Whatnot? I've been seeing big name fishermen selling on there lately. I don't even know what Whatnot is. So you might need to fill me in on that one. Might be behind on the times there. Oh, Bender has the gate closed most of December. That's true. I always forget about that. They don't want to plow it, and so they'll just close the gate. So, all right, let's get to this giveaway here. We're going to choose a winner. We have 94 entries. And the winner is Baking with Bad Boy. So Baking with Bad Boy, please respond on here so we know you're still watching and that you know that you won. You there, Baking with Bad Boy? We're waiting. All right. Milwaukee River open. Yeah, I think there's gonna be some ice in spots, but it's open. All right, give me a call at the shop here so we can arrange how to uh, get you your fishing rod. And thanks everyone for watching. One thing I forgot to mention: next week I will not be doing a live fishing report. I've got some other stuff going on, so I won't be able to do it. So happy New Year to everybody. The week after that, we'll be back to our live fishing reports. And good luck to everyone fishing. And stay safe out there. Don't fall through the ice. Have a good one, guys.